When you really begin to see that 5 simple daily habits are quietly blocking you from the universe's blessings, you don't change from panic, you change from love. My darling, so many people believe they are cursed or unlucky or somehow left out of life's goodness, when in truth, they are simply running old patterns that clog up the flow. You don't have to work harder. You don't have to prove yourself more. You don't have to chase blessings. What you are really being invited to do is to gently remove what stands in the way of what is already trying to reach you. Think of a beautiful garden. The sun is shining, the rain is falling, the soil is rich and generous. The universe is like that, always shining, always nourishing, always ready to grow something wonderful in you. But if the garden is choked with weeds, if there is so much clutter and debris that the plants cannot breathe, the problem is not the sun or the rain, is it? The problem is the blockage. Many of us are not cursed at all. We are just clogged. We have weeds of old thoughts, old habits, old words that keep wrapping themselves around our blessings and strangling them before they can bloom. I want you to know something very clearly. Blessings are not earned. Blessings are allowed. You do not have to be perfect to receive good. You do not have to punish yourself to be worthy of love. What you are learning to do now is to clear a little space in your mind, in your heart, in your daily habits, so that the good that already belongs to you can finally reach you. So let us set the tone together. Place your hand on your heart and say softly, I clear the path for good to flow. I clear the path for good to flow. I clear the path for good to flow. I release what no longer serves me. I release what no longer serves me. I release what no longer serves me. I welcome the blessings of life. I welcome the blessings of life. I welcome the blessings of life. Feel how different it is to start from this place, not from what's wrong with me, but from what am I ready to release and what am I ready to welcome. You are not a problem to be fixed. You are a garden to be tended with love, with patience, with kindness. And today, we begin by pulling out one of the most common weeds of all. Let's talk about the first habit that quietly blocks so much good: complaining and negative speech. I always say, every word you speak is an affirmation, whether you realize it or not. Complaints are simply affirmations in disguise, but they are affirmations for exactly what you don't want. Every time you say, I hate my job, you are telling life, more of this, please. Every time you sigh, nothing ever works out for me, you are sending a little order slip to the universe, reinforcing that pattern. This always happens to me is like casting a tiny unconscious spell, and then we are surprised when the spell keeps repeating. My dear one, I am not saying this to make you feel guilty. I am saying this because I want you to see how powerful you are. Your words are not small. Your words are creative forces. Your words are seeds. If, day after day, you say, I'm so tired, I'm so broke, I'm so unlucky, why would your subconscious mind prepare anything else for you? It is only obeying the instructions it hears most often. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine that standing next to you is a little child who believes every word you say. When you declare, "Nothing works for me," that little one wilts a little. When you say, "I hate my life," that little one shrinks. But when you whisper, "I'm learning to trust good things," the child's eyes light up. When you say, "Something wonderful is on its way," the child stands taller. That little child is your subconscious mind. It is listening, it is absorbing, it is taking notes, and it does not know the difference between a joke, a habit, or a truth. It simply hears repetition. So ask yourself gently, do I want my words to drain me or to nourish me? Do I want my words to choke my garden or water it? Now, you may be thinking, but Louise, I'm just being honest. Things really are hard right now. I understand. I would never ask you to deny your feelings or pretend that everything is perfect when it does not feel that way. You can absolutely acknowledge, this is challenging, I feel scared, I feel tired. That is honesty. But there is a world of difference between honestly describing a moment and building a house there with your words. Complaining keeps you stuck in the same room. Conscious wording opens a door. Instead of, "I hate my job," you might try, "I am willing to find or create work that I enjoy. I am willing to find or create work that I enjoy. I am willing to find or create work that I enjoy." Instead of, "Nothing ever works out," you could gently say, "More and more things are working out for me. More and more things are working out for me. More and more things are working out for me." Can you feel the difference? One sentence locks the door, the other cracks a window and lets fresh air in. This is not about pretending, it's about choosing a direction. Our words can point us toward the past, repeating the same old story, or toward a new future, even if we are only taking the first tiny step. When you catch yourself about to complain, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is there a kinder way to say this? Is there a more hopeful way to look at this? Maybe your complaint, "I'm exhausted," becomes, "I am learning to take better care of my energy." Maybe "everything is going wrong" becomes, "I am open to seeing what is still going right." You are not erasing reality. You are inviting in a new possibility. I often like to play a little game with people. I say, what if your next complaint delayed your next miracle? Not because life is punishing you, but because every time you reinforce the old story, you push back the arrival of the new one. If your words are constantly telling the universe, "I don't believe in good," it will wait until you are ready to let a little good in. So what if, instead, you decided that your next kind sentence opens the door a little wider? Imagine that each loving, hopeful word you speak is like gently pulling a weed and watering a flower. When you say, "I choose kind, uplifting words," your garden hears you. Let's say that together now, softly but clearly. I choose kind, uplifting words. I choose kind, uplifting words. I choose kind, uplifting words. Feel that settle inside. Then affirm. I speak only what I want to grow. I speak only what I want to grow. I speak only what I want to grow. Notice how it makes you a little more careful, a little more aware, a little more loving with yourself. And now, one more. My words water the garden of my life. My words water the garden of my life. My words water the garden of my life. From this moment on, my dear, I invite you to become a gentle guardian of your speech. Not harsh, not policing yourself with criticism, but watching with curiosity. You might even smile when you hear an old complaint rise up and say, "Ah, there's that weed again. I know how to pull you now." You are not a bad person because you complained. You were simply practicing an old habit. Now you are learning a new one. You are learning to bless your life with your words. You are learning to bless your body, your money, your work, your relationships with the way you speak about them. And as you do, you will notice something beautiful. The universe begins to respond differently. Doors open a little more easily. People are kinder. Opportunities appear where there was once only bad luck. Why? Because you are no longer arguing for your limitations all day long. You are no longer cursing the very soil you want to grow in. You are speaking to life the way a loving gardener speaks to their plants, with encouragement, with patience, with trust. So today, let this be your first clearing, not the last, not the only one, just the first. Each time you choose a kinder word, you pull out one more weed. Each time you soften a complaint into a possibility, you make a little more room for blessings to land. You don't need to chase more. You just need to let go of what blocks the flow. And if you do this, one sentence at a time, one day at a time, you will look back and realize the garden of your life has changed. Not by magic outside of you, but by the loving magic you practiced inside. How long have you kept those old stories in your heart, my darling? How long has that old scene been playing in the back of your mind, like a movie you don't even enjoy but keep watching anyway? Maybe it's a sentence someone said to you years ago. Maybe it's the way someone left, the betrayal, the abandonment, the sharp look, the door closing, the phone that never rang again. Perhaps when it first happened, you told yourself, "I'll never forget this. I'll never forgive this." Because in that moment, it felt like the only protection you had. And I understand that. When we are hurt, the mind believes that holding on is strength. It thinks, if I keep this pain close, I will keep myself safe. But what I have seen over and over and over is that not forgiving does not punish them. It imprisons you. It is like swallowing poison every day and wondering why your body and your heart feel so tired. It is like carrying a heavy bag everywhere you go, a bag full of old words, old faces, old scenes. You drag it into the shower, you drag it into bed, you drag it into new relationships, you drag it into your future. And then you say, "Why am I so exhausted? Why is life so heavy?" My dear one, the heaviness isn't coming from the present. It is coming from what you are still carrying from the past. Forgiveness is not about saying it was okay, it was not okay, it hurt, it mattered, it left marks. Forgiveness is not erasing the story. It is choosing to stop letting that story run your life. Forgiveness is not about denying your hurt. It is about releasing the poison so you can heal. I want you to picture something with me. Imagine that every resentment you hold is a chain around your heart, a chain you cannot see, but you can feel. Every time you remember what they did and replay it with anger and bitterness, you tighten that chain just a little bit more. You may think you are chaining them, but really it is wrapped around you. It squeezes when you try to love again. It pulls when you try to move forward. It whispers when you try to feel joy. Remember what happened last time? And so life becomes smaller, narrower, more controlled, because you are living in reaction to an old wound. I am not asking you to jump straight to, I forgive everything and everyone and I feel wonderful. That would not be honest. What I am inviting you into is willingness. A tiny, gentle doorway that says, maybe I could put this bag down for a moment. Maybe I could loosen one chain by one link. Maybe I am ready to be just a little more free. So let us start there. Put your hand on your heart and whisper, I am willing to release the past. I am willing to release the past. I am willing to release the past. You don't have to know how to do it. You don't have to know when it will fully soften. You only need to be willing, and that willingness begins to melt the ice. You see, my dear, when we forgive, we set ourselves free, not them, ourselves. Forgiveness cuts the chain that is wrapped around your own heart. Forgiveness opens the windows in a room that has been locked up for years. Forgiveness says, I deserve a life bigger than this story. I deserve a future that is not built entirely out of my past. Sometimes people ask me, but Louise, if I forgive them, doesn't that mean they got away with it? Doesn't that mean what they did was okay? And I say, no, 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 my love. Forgiveness is not a stamp of approval. It is a decision to stop letting that experience poison every new day. When you forgive, you are not changing the past. You are changing your relationship with it. You are saying, this happened, and it hurt me deeply, and now I choose to stop carrying it as a weapon against myself. Imagine again that heavy bag you've been dragging. Inside it are memories, words, scenes, unanswered questions, imaginary arguments, all the I should have said and I should have done, tangled together. Now imagine that someone comes to you and says, you may put that down now. You are allowed to walk without it. Would you clutch it tighter and say, no, I need this weight to remind me I was hurt? Or would you, after a deep sigh and maybe a few tears, let it slip from your hands and feel the incredible lightness in your shoulders? That is what forgiveness feels like. It is not logical. It is liberating. And you might say, but I'm not ready. Then ask softly, am I ready to be free? Not, am I ready to excuse them? Not, am I ready to erase what happened? Just, am I ready to be free? Because, my darling, you deserve freedom more than you deserve to stay loyal to your pain. You have been loyal to your pain for a very long time. Perhaps now you can practice loyalty to your healing. I love to use a little visualization I call the forgiveness stage. It is one of the most powerful inner processes I know. If it feels comfortable for you, close your eyes for a moment and imagine a small stage in front of you. On this stage, place the person you resent the most. It could be someone from childhood, a parent, a teacher, a friend, a partner, someone at work. It might even be yourself. See them standing there, just as they were when they hurt you, or as they are now. Notice your body's reaction. Maybe your jaw tightens, your stomach clenches, your shoulders rise. Let it be okay. These are old protective habits. Then, as you watch them, remember this. People who are cruel are deeply afraid. People who wound others are deeply wounded themselves. People who withhold love never received it in the way they needed. You do not have to approve of their behavior to understand that they were acting from their own pain. And in this understanding, something softens just a little. When you are ready, say to them in your mind, I forgive you and I set you free. I forgive you and I set you free. I forgive you and I set you free. I will not carry you in my heart as a weapon anymore. I choose peace instead. You may cry. You may resist. You may want to argue. That is all right. You can repeat this exercise many times, each time loosening another layer. You are not doing it for them. You are doing it for that precious child inside of you who has been clutching this story, hoping that someday it would make sense. Now, I want you to bring that child into the picture. See yourself as a little boy or girl, perhaps 5 or 6 years old, standing off to the side of that stage, watching everything. This child has been the one holding all the hurt, all the confusion, all the why did they do that to me, and what was wrong with me. Go over to that child in your imagination. Kneel down. Look into their eyes. What do you see there? Fear, sadness, anger, a longing to be held? This little one is not asking you to be perfect. They are asking you to choose them instead of choosing the pain over and over again. Wrap your arms around that child and whisper, I am so sorry you went through that. You did not deserve it. You were never the problem. I am here now. I will protect you. I will not abandon you to that story anymore. And then say, for both of you, I am willing to release the past. I am willing to release the past. I am willing to release the past. Feel how your arms around that child are already an act of forgiveness, not necessarily for others yet, but for yourself. You are forgiving yourself for believing that you were unworthy, for blaming yourself, for swallowing other people's guilt. You are taking that guilt and handing it back to life, saying, this does not belong to me. Forgiveness is also a gift you give your body. When you hold on to resentment, your body tightens, your breath shortens, your muscles harden, and over time, this chronic tension begins to show up as illness, fatigue, headaches, pain. The body remembers what the mind refuses to let go of. When you begin to forgive, the shoulders drop, the jaw relaxes, the breath deepens, the heart rate calms. You might be amazed at how many physical symptoms soften when emotional chains are released. I would like you to say with me now, gently, I forgive and set myself free. I forgive and set myself free. I forgive and set myself free. That is not just a pretty sentence. It is a clear instruction to every cell in your body, to every old memory, to every locked place in your heart. You are telling your whole system, we are no longer living on yesterday's battlefield. We are stepping into a new field where peace is allowed. Of course, the mind will protest sometime. It will say, but they haven't apologized. They don't deserve forgiveness. If I let this go, I will be vulnerable again. And I want you to know, your mind is not your enemy. It is trying to keep you safe using very old strategies. You can thank it and offer it a new job. Thank you for trying to protect me by holding on to this. Now I choose a different kind of safety inner peace. You can remind your mind that forgiveness does not mean I must let them back into my life. Forgiveness does not mean I must trust them again. Forgiveness means I choose peace in my own heart. You are allowed to set boundaries and forgive. You are allowed to love yourself enough to walk away and forgive. You are allowed to never speak to them again and still free your own heart from the chain. This is your power. This is your choice. So, my dear one, let us come back to you. Place your hand on your heart once more, take a breath, and feel your chest rise and fall. You have been so brave, carrying so much for so long. You have done the best you could with the understanding you had. Now you are opening to a new understanding. Whisper softly, I deserve peace. I deserve peace. I deserve peace. Let those words wash over every memory, every painful scene, every tight place inside of you. You deserve a mind that can rest. You deserve a heart that can love without being chained to the past. You deserve mornings that are not haunted by yesterday's ghosts. You deserve evenings that are not filled with silent arguments in your head. You deserve peace, not because you have earned it, but because it is your birthright as a living, breathing expression of life. And remember, you do not have to complete all forgiveness in one day. You do not have to force yourself to be spiritual by skipping over your pain. You can move in layers, gently, kindly, one step at a time. Each day you can ask, is there one person, one memory, one tiny corner of my heart I am willing to soften today? And when the answer is yes, you have cleared a bit more space for blessings to flow. When we forgive, we set ourselves free, and a free heart is the most magnetic, the most abundant, the most blessed heart of all. The third habit that prevents blessings that you may not even realize is the habit of living in fear and worry. So many beautiful people come to me and say, Louise, I am exhausted. I am anxious. I am always bracing for something to go wrong. And I look at them with so much love because I know they are not bad. They are not broken. They are simply running a very old program of fear in a very sensitive mind. I want you to imagine for a moment that your mind is like a movie theater, and worry is the projectionist who only knows how to play one kind of film, disaster. Every time you face something new, every time you step toward a dream, every time you care about someone, the projector starts running. What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I lose it all? And the body, faithful servant that it is, believes every scene is real. Your heart races, your stomach knots, your muscles tense, not because something terrible is happening in front of you, but because something terrible is happening in your imagination. Fear doesn't prevent bad things, it rehearses them. Chronic worry is like leaving the television on all night to a scary channel. Even if you are not watching, the noise is draining your energy in the background, keeping your nervous system on edge, stealing the rest your spirit longs for. So you wake up already tired and you think, my life is so hard. When in truth, much of your suffering is coming from the inner movies you are running, not from the actual day you are living. I want to be very kind and very clear with you. Your fear is not your enemy. Your fear is a part of you that learned very early on that the world was not always safe, that people were not always gentle, that surprises were not always pleasant. And so it decided, if I worry about everything, maybe I can control it. If I stay tense, maybe I won't be caught off guard again. Fear believes that tension is protection. Worry believes that suffering in advance will soften the blow later. But you and I know, when we really look at it, that it simply doesn't work. Has worry ever actually stopped a difficult thing from happening? Or has it only stolen today's peace while tomorrow is still unwritten? When you live in fear, you are trying to survive the same event 100 times in your mind, and maybe once in reality, and sometimes it never even happens at all. I like to say that chronic worry is mental abuse toward yourself. If you spoke to a little child the way your worry speaks to you, be careful. It's going to go wrong. You can't handle this. They will leave you. You will fail. You would see immediately how unkind it is. But because it happens inside, you think it is normal or just how I am. My darling, it is not who you are. It is what you have practiced. And what you have practiced, you can unpractice. What you have rehearsed, you can rewrite. So how do we do that? We do not beat ourselves up for feeling afraid. That only adds another layer of fear. We do not shout at the mind and say, "Stop worrying. What's wrong with you?" Because harshness never brings healing. Instead, we begin with a simple, loving acknowledgement. The next time you feel the worry, start the churning in the stomach, the racing thoughts, the what if, I want you to pause and say inside, of course you're afraid. You were hurt before. Can you feel the difference in that tone? You are not shaming yourself. You are understanding yourself. Fear softens a little when it is seen. Then, once you have acknowledged it, you add a new layer. And now we are safe enough to try again. That is where the healing begins, in the and now. The past was real. The pain was real. And now you are older, wiser, more resourced, more supported, more aware. You are not the helpless child you once were. You are not the powerless person you once believed yourself to be. You have survived every single day of your life so far. That is a perfect record of 100%. So we begin to shift from, I can't handle it, something terrible will happen, to, whatever happens, I trust the process of life. I will walk through it with myself, not against myself. I want to give you a very simple, very powerful little tool that you can start using today. I call it the 5-second interrupt. Think of it as a loving hand that reaches over and switches the channel in your mental movie theater. When you notice that your mind has gone into disaster mode, maybe you are rehearsing an argument in your head, imagining a rejection that hasn't happened, picturing yourself failing before you have even begun, you gently say, either out loud or inside, stop, not as a punishment, but as a clear signal. Then you take one slow, deep breath. Feel the air go in, feel the air go out. And in those 5 seconds, you ask yourself, what loving thought could I choose instead of this fearful one? Not a perfect thought, not a spiritual bumper sticker, just a thought that feels a little kinder. Fear says, I will mess it up. A loving thought says, I am learning and it's okay to learn. Fear says, something bad is going to happen. A loving thought says, right now, in this moment, I am safe. Fear says, life is against me. A loving thought says, I am willing to believe that life is on my side. This is how we retrain the mind, not in one dramatic moment, but in 1,000 little interrupts. Stop, breathe, choose a better thought, again and again and again. You might say to me, but Louise, that sounds too simple. And I will smile and say, yes, my darling, truth is simple. The mind likes complication, the heart likes simplicity. Every time you interrupt a fearful movie and choose a more peaceful thought, you are rewiring the pathways in your brain. You are teaching your nervous system that safety is possible. You are opening the door a little wider for blessings to find you. Because blessings have a hard time landing on a mind that is constantly running worst-case scenarios. The universe is always sending you possibilities, ideas, opportunities, small nudges, but when worry is screaming, you do not hear the whisper of guidance. When fear is predicting disaster, you do not notice the open door in front of you. So by choosing peace, even for 5 seconds at a time, you are not being naive. You are becoming available. Available to inspiration, available to support, available to the subtle ways life is trying to help you. Let us work now with some gentle affirmations, because you know I love affirmations. They are not magic spells. They are loving statements that we repeat until they become more familiar than the old harsh ones. Take a breath with me, soften your shoulders, and if you can, place your hand on your heart. We will say these slowly, as if talking to a frightened child, because in many ways, that is exactly what we are doing. I release worry. I choose peace. I release worry. I choose peace. I release worry. I choose peace. Feel how those words land in your body. Notice if a part of you relaxes, even just a little. Now let's speak to your sense of safety. I am safe. All is well in my world. I am safe. All is well in my world. I am safe. All is well in my world. Your mind may argue and list all the reasons why things are not well. That's all right. We are not arguing with it. We are offering it a new possibility. Remember, we are not pretending nothing difficult has ever happened. We are choosing to believe that even in difficulty, there is a deeper support holding us. And now, let us speak one of my favorite affirmations, one that has carried me through so many storms. I trust that life is working for me. I trust that life is working for me. I trust that life is working for me. You see, when you live from fear and worry, you send out a message to the universe. I expect the worst. And life, in its loving neutrality, says, all right, we will keep showing you what you expect, not as a punishment, but as a mirror. When you begin to practice trust, even while your knees are still shaking, you send out a different message. I am willing to believe that I am supported. And then you start to notice the right book showing up, the kind word from a stranger, the opportunity that arrives in perfect timing, the problem that quietly resolves itself without your panic. Most of these blessings have always been around you. Your worry simply didn't let you see them. As you shift from fear to trust, you unclog the channel. Remember what we said earlier. Many of us are not cursed. We are just clogged. Fear clogs, worry clogs, trust clears, peace opens. So the next time your mind starts to play its favorite disaster film, smile a little, recognize it as an old rerun, and say, we've seen this one already. Tonight we are going to choose a different show. Then choose even the smallest loving thought. My dear one, you do not have to become a fearless person to have a beautiful life. You do not have to eradicate every worry before blessings can reach you. You simply need to begin shifting the balance, one thought, one breath, one interrupt at a time. Fear will knock on the door. You don't have to invite it in for tea. Worry will start its speech. You don't have to give it the microphone. You can acknowledge it, thank it for trying to protect you, and then gently say, today I am choosing peace. And as you do this, again and again, something miraculous begins to happen. The inner movie theater changes its repertoire. The channel of your mind moves gradually from disaster forecasts to gentle hope, to quiet confidence, to an underlying trust that I am safe. All is well in my world. I trust the process of life. And when that becomes your inner atmosphere, the universe can finally deliver the blessings that have been waiting for you all along. Now let's look together, very gently, at habit number 4. The habit of not noticing, not appreciating, not giving thanks for the good that is already in your life. This lack of gratitude, my dear, quietly blocks so many blessings, and most people don't even realize they're doing it. When you are always focusing on what's missing, what's broken, what's wrong, you are like a person standing in a beautiful garden, staring only at the weeds and saying, there are no flowers here. There is nothing good here. While roses and lilies are blooming all around you, gratitude is not just a polite thank you. It is a spiritual magnet. It draws more of what you appreciate into your experience. When there is no gratitude, there is no flow. It's like turning off the light switch and then asking, why is this room so dark? Why can't I see? The universe is always sending you little rays of light, a kind word, a small solution, a moment of beauty, a breath of relief. But if your attention is trained only on what is lacking, you don't even see the light when it's there. Many people say, when my life gets better, I'll be grateful. When I have more money, when I find a partner, when my body is perfect, then I'll appreciate. But it doesn't work that way. Life does not respond to our conditions. Life responds to our consciousness. You can't wait until life gets better to be grateful. Life gets better because you're grateful. Think for a moment about a child who gives you a small drawing. If you look at it and say, well, it's not very good, you could have done better, why isn't it like that other child's drawing? The child will withdraw. They will hesitate to bring you more because their gift wasn't honored. But if you look at that same little drawing with shining eyes and say, thank you, this is so beautiful, I love what you made for me, what happens? The child runs off, excited, and comes back with even more art, more color, more love. The universe is very much like that child. When you dismiss the small gifts, the day you have enough to eat, the friend who texted you just when you were lonely, the bill that got paid just in time, the moment of laughter in the middle of a hard week, you are telling life, it's not enough. This isn't good. I don't value this. And life, hearing you, says, oh, I see. She doesn't notice. She doesn't want this kind of good. And the flow slows down. When you appreciate even the tiniest improvement, the smallest bit of progress, the most modest blessing, you are sending a very different message. Yes, this matters. Yes, I see this. Yes, more of this, please. Then the universe, like that delighted child, says, oh, she noticed. She's grateful. Let's bring her more. I know it can feel difficult to be grateful when you are in pain, when the bank account is low, when the diagnosis is frightening, when the relationship has ended. I am not asking you to pretend that your difficulties do not exist. I am inviting you to discover that even in the middle of a storm, there can be small, steady places of goodness to rest your mind. Gratitude is not denial. Gratitude is choosing where to place your focus. Two people can live the very same day. One will say, everything is awful, nothing works, no one cares, and at night they feel empty and abandoned. The other will live through the same challenges and still whisper, some parts were hard today, and still I had a warm bed, I had food, one person smiled at me, I handled something better than last time. The outer events might be very similar, but the inner reality is completely different. One consciousness is a tight-closed fist. The other is an open hand. Blessings cannot land on a closed fist. They fall and bounce away. Gratitude slowly opens that fist, finger by finger, until your hands, your heart, your mind are ready to receive. So how do we practice this in a simple, gentle, practical way? I like things that are simple and doable because then we are more likely to actually do them. I suggest you start with what I call a 3 things journal. It doesn't need to be fancy. Any small notebook will do. Keep it by your bed or on your desk or wherever you will see it in the morning. And when you wake up, even before you check your phone, even before you open the door to the world, you pause for a moment with yourself and you write down 3 things you are grateful for. Just 3. They can be big. I am grateful that I have a job, or I am grateful that my child is healthy. They can be tiny. I am grateful for the sound of the birds outside, or I am grateful for this soft pillow, or I am grateful that I have another chance today. Some mornings you will feel inspired and write more. Other mornings you will struggle to find even one thing. On those days, be very tender with yourself. You can even write, I am grateful that I am willing to try, or I am grateful that I am breathing. It still counts. Remember, we are not performing gratitude for anyone else. We are slowly changing the channel inside our own mind. If you stay with this simple practice, something very beautiful begins to happen. You will notice that in the middle of the day, your mind starts looking for things to put in tomorrow's list. You'll catch a ray of sunlight on the floor and think, oh, that was lovely. I can write that down. You will remember a moment when you smiled at yourself in the mirror instead of criticizing, and you'll want to celebrate it. You will recognize that your body, even with its aches and quirks, carried you through another day, and you'll feel a little wave of appreciation. Do you see what is happening? By choosing to look for 3 things each morning, you are training your awareness to scan for what's working instead of what's failing, what's present instead of what's missing, what is possible instead of what is impossible. The facts of your life may not change overnight, but the way you meet your life changes dramatically. And when you change how you meet life, life changes how it meets you. Many people tell me, but Louise, if I am grateful now, won't I become lazy? Won't I stop trying to improve my life? And I smile because I know that's just another fear story. True gratitude does not make you passive. It makes you powerful. When you are constantly complaining, nothing works, everything is terrible, you feel heavy, defeated, and uninspired. From that state, it's very hard to take positive action. When you say, some things are difficult, yes, and still, I can see good here, you feel more energized, more hopeful, more creative. Gratitude lights up your inner world so you can see options, paths, and ideas that were hidden in the dark. Gratitude is not the enemy of change. Gratitude is the soil in which healthy change grows. You don't fix a garden by cursing it. You heal it by tending it, blessing it, watering what you want to grow. Let us work now with some affirmations to help you gently remove this habit of ingratitude and install a new habit of appreciation. Remember, we are not forcing anything. We are inviting. Take a deep breath with me. Feel your chest rise and fall. If you are able, place one hand on your heart and one on your belly, and just for a moment, notice that you are alive. Your body has been serving you since the day you were born. Your heart has been beating without you needing to remind it. Already there is something to thank life for. Now, softly, almost like a lullaby to your own mind, say with me, I focus on what's working. I focus on what's working. I focus on what's working. Notice how that feels. Perhaps a small part of you relaxes and says, oh, I don't have to obsess about what's wrong all the time. End quote. Now, let's open the gate of receiving a little wider. I am thankful now, and more is on the way. I am thankful now, and more is on the way. I am thankful now, and more is on the way. Do you hear how this affirmation is both present and hopeful? It says, I appreciate what is, and at the same time, I expect more good. You are telling the universe, I see what you've already done, and I am open to your continued generosity. That is a very powerful vibration. And now, let us speak the truth about gratitude itself. Gratitude multiplies my blessings. Gratitude multiplies my blessings. Gratitude multiplies my blessings. Imagine those words sinking deep into your subconscious mind, like rain soaking into the soil. Each time you choose to be grateful instead of resentful, appreciative instead of dismissive, you are watering that seed. In time, it grows into a deep inner knowing. Good things come to me. Good things are happening. Good things are on their way. You might still have difficult days. Gratitude does not mean you will never cry again, or never feel lonely, or never be challenged. What it does mean is that even on those days, you can reach for one small, steady thought that keeps your heart open. I am grateful I've made it this far. I am grateful for one person who loves me. I am grateful that I am learning to take care of myself. When you do that, you are sending a clear signal to the universe. Even in my pain, I am willing to see the light. And the universe responds by gently, lovingly, bringing you more light to see. So remember, my dear, you do not need a perfect life to be grateful. You need only a willing heart. You do not wait for everything to change before you give thanks. You begin now with what you have, where you are. And in that simple act, you quietly unlock the next level of blessing that has been waiting at the gate patiently for you to open it. Finally, my darling, let us look at the deepest habit of all, the one that quietly sits underneath so many of the others, harsh self-criticism. This is the habit that whispers, "What's wrong with you? Why are you like this? You should be better by now." It is so familiar to many of us that we don't even recognize it as abuse. We think it's motivation, but I want you to really hear this question from me. Would you ever talk to a small child the way you talk to yourself inside your own head? Would you stand over a little one and say, "You're so stupid. You'll never get it right. Nothing you do is enough"? Of course you wouldn't. You would know instantly that such words would crush that child's spirit. And yet, my dear, that is exactly what so many of you do to your own inner child every single day. Self-criticism doesn't make you better. It makes you smaller. It doesn't make you stronger. It makes you scared. It drains your confidence. It drains your energy. And it shuts the door to the blessings that are already trying to find you because you keep telling yourself you don't deserve them, that you're not ready, not good enough, not worthy. Remember, your subconscious mind is listening to every word you repeat, and it believes you. It doesn't argue. It doesn't debate. It doesn't say, "Oh, that's just a joke." It simply takes in the message, "I am not enough. I am wrong. I am bad. and it organizes your life around those instructions. So, if you have been asking, why do good things feel so far away from me? I invite you to listen to the way you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. For years I have said, and I want to say it to you again today, you've been criticizing yourself for years, and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. Just feel that for a moment. You have already done the experiment of self-criticism. You have tried it again and again. Has it brought you peace? Has it brought you joy? Has it brought you the ease and abundance you desire? Or has it brought you anxiety, tension, procrastination, and fear? So instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" I want you to begin asking a very different question. What do I need with love today? Do you feel the difference? One question attacks you, the other cares for you. One question puts you on trial, the other puts an arm around your shoulders. One question says, you are the problem, and the other says, you are a precious being having a hard moment. How can we support you? This one simple shift from what's wrong with me to what do I need with love begins to melt the ice around your heart. You stop treating yourself like an enemy and begin to treat yourself like a beloved friend. Let us speak to your subconscious now with new words, gently, softly. Even if you don't fully believe it yet, repeat with me 3 times, like a gentle drumbeat of truth. I love and approve of myself. I love and approve of myself. I love and approve of myself. Notice any resistance, any tightness, and just let it be there. We are not fighting the resistance. We are soothing it. Now say with me, I am enough just as I am. I am enough just as I am. I am enough just as I am. And one more, I am learning to speak to myself with love. I am learning to speak to myself with love. I am learning to speak to myself with love. You are not required to be perfect today. You are only invited to be kinder to the person you are with all day long, you. Now, how do we change all these habits in a real, lasting way? Not just for an hour after hearing a talk, but in the quiet moments of everyday life. We do not change them by forcing or punishing ourselves. We change them by healing the inner root. Awareness is always the first step. You can't pull out a weed if you never look at the garden. So instead of demanding perfection from yourself, I want you to practice simple awareness. Oh, I see, I'm complaining again. Or, there I go, holding a grudge. Or, I notice I'm worrying myself into exhaustion. Or, I'm criticizing myself right now. That's all. No attack, no shame, just noticing. The point of power is always in the present moment, not yesterday, not 10 years ago, not when you were a child and people filled your mind with their fears and pain. Right now is where your power lives. Right now you can choose a new thought. Right now you can breathe and say, I am willing to change. You do not need to know how the whole process will unfold. You only need willingness. Willingness cracks the door open so the light can come in. One of my favorite tools, as you know, is mirror work. I would love for you to stand in front of a mirror today even if it feels silly, even if you feel shy or emotional, and look gently into your own eyes. You don't have to force a smile. Just be there with yourself and say, I am willing to change. I am willing to release these old habits. I am willing to let life flow through me. If tears come, that is all right. Tears mean the ice is melting. Your inner child has waited a long time to hear kindness from you. Then, when you are ready, you can use your imagination to help the process. Imagination is a powerful spiritual tool. Close your eyes and picture those 5 habits: the complaining, the unforgiveness, the worry, the lack of gratitude, the self-criticism as blocks of ice around your heart, or heavy stones in your energy field. See them clearly for a moment, and now imagine a warm, golden light of love moving in from the top of your head, down through your face, your throat, your chest, your belly, your legs, all the way to your feet. This is the loving intelligence of life. Wherever this warm light touches the ice, it begins to soften and melt. Wherever it touches the stones, they begin to dissolve into light like sugar in warm tea. You don't have to push them away. You just let them melt. As you see this, say softly, today I clear away what blocks the light. Today I clear away what blocks the light. Today I clear away what blocks the light. Feel how much lighter your body becomes as you imagine this, and then affirm with me, I am open, I am ready, I am worthy. I am open, I am ready, I am worthy. I am open, I am ready, I am worthy. This is the new identity you are choosing, not the person who is blocked and cursed and stuck, but the person who is learning, who is softening, who is allowing. As we come to the close of our time together, I want to leave you with a blessing, a reminder, and a promise. The blessing is this: every blessing you have prayed for is already in motion. You may not see it yet. You may not know the path it is taking, but life has heard you. Life always hears a sincere heart. The reminder is this: the moment you release resistance, you step into alignment. Every time you let go of one complaint, one grudge, one fearful movie in your mind, one harsh word against yourself, you are opening the door a little wider. You are saying to the universe, it is safe to bless me now. I am ready to receive. And the promise is this: when you clear the way, the universe always flows again. Good will find you. Peace will find you. Opportunities will find you. Loving people will find you. You are not here to be shut out from the good of life. You are here to dance with it. So, my dear one, take a gentle breath with me now. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your heart beating in your chest. Proof that life is already flowing through you. And say with me, I am open to receive. I am open to receive. I am open to receive. Then affirm, I am a clear channel for life's blessings. I am a clear channel for life's blessings. I am a clear channel for life's blessings. And finally, let us end with the truth I love so much, the truth I want you to carry into every corner of your day. Life loves me, and so do I. Life loves me, and so do I. Life loves me, and so do I. Let that be the song in your heart as you move forward, lighter, clearer, and more open than before.